Hi, it's Grim with Luxury Gaming, and we're here with Uncle Jibs Bakery, 3v3 team that went 8-0 in Swiss. And there's 128 teams. It was I think it was the biggest LCS event they've had so far. But we're here with them right now. For the team, we have Nick Petzold, Mike Thomas, and Jibriel. Go ahead and introduce yourself, guys.
Hi guys, I'm Nick Petzold.
Hi, Nick. And I'm Jim. How's everybody doing?
And then Mike.
Oh, I thought hi, Nick was good enough. Hi, I'm Mike Thomas.
That's fair. Do you guys have any shout-outs before we start up?
Yeah, I'll go first. So, shout outs to Playmakers, Cheech, everyone in the chat. Y'all are awesome. Shout outs to Jim and Mike, my teammates. They're awesome. Carried me. Not really, because I can do Jib. But also shout outs to Daily Grind, Jerry, all my friends over there. Y'all are awesome as well. And anyone else that helped me work down the list. And yeah, that's basically it.
Alright. So, of course, for me, shout outs to Playmakers and Cheech. Love you guys. Also, huge shout outs to my community over on Twitch. You can check us out at TTV. We're live pretty much every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at about 8 p.m. Sometimes we do longer streams, sometimes we clown around and wear hentai hoodies. And then last shout out to Empty Chair. Of course, hi everybody, I'm Jim. I've been on all over the place. First of all, shout out to Team Playmakers, my team and sponsor. Shout out to my amazing teammates Nick Petzold and Mike Thomas. And finally, shout out to them again for losing when it counted, but I still love them. They carried me through the latter half of Swiss when I carried through the first part of Swiss. And finally, shout out to Empty Chair. Hey Jim, what was your record after Swiss? We're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah, we're not here to do that, guys. But yeah, so to jump into it, we're gonna go into Mike Thomas's list first. So basically, for this team, two of the teammates played Virtual World and one played Adamantipator Pranks, which has been seeing a little bit of popularity. I think there was 11 Adamantipator players in this tournament. But yeah, Mike, if you want to jump into the list if you'd like.
Sure. So my main deck remained unchanged from the Extravaganza last weekend, where I won the Attack of the Giant card on Saturday. So I played 3 Ash, 3 Gamma, 3 Nibiru. 2 Nibiru. You played the 3. You played the 3.
Yeah.
So I played the 2 Nibiru, and then of course the 1 driver because you have to. Then I played 3 of all the virtual world names. You kind of have to. And then for the only other cards that weren't just like 3 of virtual worlds, it was just Pot of Desires, Foolish Grail Goods, and Emergency Teleport just for maximum consistency. To go into the extra deck, we played 2 Calamities, 2 Cloud Castle. VFD is a very fun dragon, very good card. Then we also played Gossip Shadow, Fortune Tomb, which is absolutely cracked in KDE, but not as cracked in Luxury. And then we have the Zeus, which Fortune Tomb goes into quite often. Ptolemy for adding back cards like Lancia. Then you have Shen Shen, Juju, Charge Warrior, Coral Dragon, Ravencroc, Vermilion, and Chafang. Nothing I really changed in the extra deck. It was pretty solid. Then the side deck is the only part that changed from the Extravaganza, which was 3 Psycho Reader, 3 Lancia, 3 Drone Lockbird, 3 triple tactical talents, 1 Call by the Grave, 1 Feather Duster, 1 Reboot. I wasn't playing tactical talents pretty much all format, but Nick convinced me to put in my deck literally 5 minutes before we submitted the deck list. It was pretty good. I doubted this card a lot, but it came out quite often. I ripped a lot of good cards out of my bonus hand, or like true cards. So we can play. We'll play it again.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, so the only thing I kind of seen in the event that became a little more popular, just Cotton and a few other people were piloting basically like a pure Eldritch or Dogmatica variant with floodgates and stuff. You only played 2 back row cards, but I assume the Chuche just kind of assists in those situations through the tournament.
Yeah, I only actually played against one of the Eldritch deck. I played, I think, 4 or 5 Virtual World Mirrors and then a Lyrilusk as well, and like 1 Eldritch and 2 other things.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. Yeah, everything else looks pretty standard. Definitely Psycho Readers and Drolls for Drytron, and I think there was like 99 Virtual World players in this tournament, or is like the most represented. So there was definitely a lot of mirror matches. But yeah, is there anything else you'd like to say about your deck list? Would you make any changes, or were you content with the performance?
I think I was pretty content with it overall. Obviously, things change tomorrow on Monday with the new set releasing. But I mean, honestly, this is a very good shell. Like, I'd change like maybe Yan Yan and one of the traps for one of the new Earth and the new trap. But other than that, I don't think I'd really change much. Also, Psycho Reader and Troll are completely useless when your opponent have Herald.
Yeah, that's true. We'll jump on to Nick Petzold's list. If you'd like to jump at it.
Alright. So I'm not going to go in as detailed because like 90% of our deck is the same.
Yeah, that's fair.
Compared to his list, the only thing different in the main deck was I played the third Jibriel, just because it's one of those high impact cards that I always want to see. So playing 41 really like decreases the chances of drawing combo cards by that much. The extra deck was, I think, exactly the same. Wouldn't change anything about that. And the side deck differed a little bit. I originally had Lancia in my side, but like heading into the event, I thought that there wouldn't be as much Virtual World and that people would be on like the new combo decks like Lyrilusk and Adamantipator. So I was like, okay, Lancia is a bit narrow. Maybe I should cut it for something that's like a little more generic, which is why there's Ghost Spells in the side deck. Like, it's not as good, but it can hit the Dytron and Virtual World matchups. But, so like, that's the reason Lancia isn't in my side deck. And I decided to play more back row hate, because I thought there'd be a lot of the Eldritch deck as well. And, like, the list Jesse Cotton was played Inspector Border. So I thought Lightning Storm would be better than Red Reboot, just because Storm can hit the back row, and it can hit the Inspector Border as well.
Yeah, that's nice.
So that's why the Storms are in there. Other than that, the list was pretty stock. I was the seed that played like the most diverse matchups. I think I didn't play a single deck twice. Like, I played an Eldritch deck. I played against a Virtual World, a Dytron, a Dragon Link, a Rock deck, and I'm forgetting one matchup. But I think it was another back row deck. It was like Shadol, Zoo, Eldritch.
Yeah.
Yes. The B seat was like pretty diverse. So having talents and having lightning storms was really beneficial.
Yeah, very good utility.
Like combo cards. Yeah. That's basically it for my list.
All right, coolio. We'll jump on to the chef at Uncle Jib's Bakery. Jib, if you'd like to jump into your list.
Yeah, so hi everybody, my name is Jib. I decided for this weekend, I decided to play the Rock deck. And if you don't know, I'm basically the person that came up with the idea of the Adamantipator Rock deck that kind of popped off when people started playing. So first of all, I'd like to say shout out to all the people that came on and played the Rock deck this weekend, even though only 2 of them topped and only one of them was playing the Franken cards. I still love to see that a lot of people showed support and played the deck because I honestly think that the deck is really crazy. Shout out to Elise for like being a protege and doing really good with the deck. She's amazing and she's a good friend of mine. And yeah, so starting off with the list, you have the 9 miners, you have triple analyzer, triple seeker, and triple researcher. They're the best cards in the deck, and you always want to see them. And if you see like 2 of them, like you pretty much like always should be able to play through at least 2 hand traps if you open 2 different names of the miners. On the edge there, I put one copy of Shade Brigandin, It's basically just an extender card that's a level 4, which this deck kind of needs a lot of extenders in order to play, because like if sometimes your hands could be pretty weak and lose to one hand trap, so you just want as many diverse extenders as possible in order to play through things. Second row, I played triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. I think it's just like one of the best hand traps at the moment. It's the most diverse, it hits the most things. It was a very good card all weekend. 2 copies of Doki Doki. In the past, people like with Black Dragon, you saw people play 3 of this card. This card is like really like less important. It's really good to hit off of your minors, but you don't really want to start with it unless you have like a reborn spell. You really would rather start by normal summoning a minor, guardian, or Roxy's, which we're going to get to in a bit. But it's a really cool card, and it helps you make Herald of the Arclight, which helps play around droplets, which funny enough, I didn't get dropleted once this weekend. I don't think people were really playing droplets, but it's still a very good card in general to extend. For the Quackhamera cards, I played 3 Quackhamera Guardian and 3 Quackhamera Supplier. Guardian is like a card that people are very familiar with because of that Emancipators. It's basically a monster negate, helps you play through hand trap, helps you stop from getting moved, which is like one of like the good things about the deck. Like this is a deck that like in theory really loses hard to nib, and the reason why you play this combo deck over other combo decks like Virtual World and Drytrons is because a lot of people are playing a lot of graveyard hate hand traps, and this deck really doesn't care about the graveyard, especially without Black Dragon. So like and then like so the thing that was missing was like, alright, so how does this like tier 2 combo deck play through Nibiru? Well, you have a card like Guardian, which is just like a walking mecha ball that you can just hit at any time. So it's a very great card. And 3 copies of Supplier is probably like the second best like monster extender in the deck. Basically when a rock monster is in the graveyard, you summon it and search it as a Guardian. It's just like a really cool card to gym block some of your like extra cards. 2 copies of Medocia Padding Sister. If you know me, I played Medocians for a long time in the past, but to be honest, this card should have just stayed in Medocians. This was like really the worst card in my entire deck. I never really drew it going first where it mattered, and I usually like drew it for turn or drew it off of like a draw card and it was just a dead card in my hand. In the future, like changes that I made to the deck is like the Medocians would be cut, and I'd put Nibiru's inside of the main deck, and I'd probably side triple copies of Impermanence because this weekend Impermanence was like really a very impactful card that I don't think a lot of people were playing. But the people that were playing, like it was actually like putting work. Triple copies of Perilous Seed is the best extender in the deck. A lot of your plays start off with 1 card like summoning, and then Perilous Seed just puts 2 level 4s on the board, either to go into Granite or Dweller, or be tuned off with a level 2 to make your Raptide. Or it just puts up a lot of materials on the board. It's a very good card. So now to the print kit part of the deck. So this print kit engine is very different than what Elise and what Cody have been playing. Shout out to them, they're friends of mine. So basically the idea was that the actual print kit engine, the most optimal version of the deck, should be playing 3 copies of Roxy's and 1 of the other 3 colors. The polymerization engine is not very great. It puts a lot of unnecessary bricks inside of your deck and makes your whiffs less accurate. That engine isn't like terrible, but as long as like there aren't a lot of Zodiac in the format, like there isn't a need to play that engine, because like the best thing that Battle Butler does is stop you from like losing to Zeus. But if that deck isn't good in the format, then you don't need to play all of that. You can just play a smaller and more precise print kit engine. You have a level 4 and you have a level 2. So depending on what you want, you can make Raptide or Herald or like a rank 4, and then also you should get 3 free bodies that you can just one climb and not deal with. 1 copy of All-Star, 39 cards. 1 copy of Emergency Teleport with triple copies of Gamma. Gamma is a really powerful hand trap right now, and like Emergency Teleport just helps you like turn Gamma into an extender whenever you have to play. And then 4 reborn, triple sign 1 reborn deck needs as many reborns as possible. So for the extra deck, I'll start speeding through it. You play 1 copy of All Mirage. It's just like that you can like step a Doki or researcher or even Ash into and then trigger a parallel exceed or like keep calling like that one meow, one doodle that's required for the Franket package. One copy of Unicorn is just like a stepping stone into access code and it also spins a card. One copy of Lambda. This shout out to Cody Angelov because we were building the deck and his version of the deck played Lambda and mine's played Phoenix, and he convinced me to play Lambda at the last moment, and the card was really good. Like it helped me win like 2 games, and like in top 16 I could have made it and played around Nibiru and just educate my opponent, but I was like rushing and I did it and I got Nibiru for 6, but I still just killed my opponent. But if I had the option to make Lambda and I had Gamagan, I could have just played through the Nibiru and just killed him immediately. One copy of IP. I never really summoned IP this tournament, but like IP is just a really good card. It's just another card that like gives your monsters that you generate a job to do. You turn into an IP, and it can just go into Unicorn. One copy of Fiber. Fiber is a really good card, but without cards like Linkross and like the bad tuner pool, like the card is like way weaker than it was last format, but it's just like a card that's kind of required in this deck because it's just an extender. It's not like insane though. It's just a very good card. One copy of Appaloosa, like you're always ending on Appaloosa. Appaloosa is one of the 2 cards that this deck makes. One of the 3 cards actually that this deck makes that the other decks can't make that are really good in the format, but it's just unfortunate because none of the best decks can make it. Appaloosa is really good against Drytron and really good against Virtual World if they don't like hard draw like Kowloon to like just negate it, but you should have cards to back up your Appaloosa. Appaloosa just negates monsters, and this deck is like very monster heavy. One copy of Access Code for game, 2 rank 4s, 1 copy of Gallic Grenade, and 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller is the other really crazy card that none of the best decks, being Drytron and Virtual World, can make. Abyss Dweller just sets up the entire graveyard, and Virtual World and Drytron really need that. So it's just a very good card to also try to end on. For your Synchro monsters, we play 4. We play 1 copy of Herald. This is the 3rd really good card. This card helps you protect your board from droplets, and it's just an Omni Negate that's like really pretty easy to summon. 1 copy of Savage. You should always be trying to end on Savage. It's just like a very good negate from last format, and it's pretty good this form. 1 copy of Raptite and 1 copy of Dragite being your Adamanticate or Synchro monsters. Raptite is like the best extender in the deck, and then Dragite is just like a really good against back row decks and like really good for like clearing up forests to go for game. For the side deck, we played triple copies of Droll, triple copies of Nibiru, 2 Lancia, and 2 Cypher Reader. Before this event, I was playing the 3rd Lancia and a red reboot, but my teammate Nick Petzold convinced me to cut those cards for 2 Cypher Reader. And to be honest, both were like Drytron, which I think was literally the most insane card in the field. It was probably just as good as Droll. Cypher Reader was an insane card. I would never cut it. Triple copies of Lightning Storm and Harpies. I didn't play against any back row decks this weekend, which was really unfortunate. But like those cards are just really insane. And then 1 copy of Imperial Order. This card is just really good against Drytrons and really good against Virtual World. It's not that good against Virtual World, right? But like it's a really cool card that can help play around the drop list when you're not able to step the hurdle. So that's
Got you. Awesome. Yeah, so did Abyss Dweller put in some work this weekend? How was this card against like your Drytron?
It was really good. It was 2 times during the tournament where I should have made it, but I made something else instead. And it just made the games a lot harder for me. 1 game it actually costed me in round 8 costed me round 8 and round 6. A game in round 8 and round 6 against Dinosaurs and against Virtual World, where if I would have made Dweller, then I probably would have won the game. So yeah.
Sure. And I like
the card was that insane.
Yeah, I like the Lambda attack. That's really nice, especially the deck has like free bodies sometimes, and you can easily just make the Lambda and then proceed to other things, and then if they have Nib, you just Gamma, and then you plus off that. So that's very nice. And then the Prank Kit engine.
Finally, some shout out to my teammate. I started off really hot day 1, and then I got carried from the rest of the season. I got the top cut, but it was too late at that. But we had a lot of synergy here. Uncle Jib's Bakery is not shut down. We're just refurbishing
Refurbishing.
That's fair. Do you guys have any other words about the event or anything before we wrap it up?
Blame Jib.
Yeah, it was Jib's fault.
Blame Jib? Damn. All right.
It is Jib's fault.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Hashtag Jib's fault. Before anybody thinks that we're actually blaming him, Jib did not lose the final round. So,
It was us.
That's all.
Yeah, Rock
That's losses and get that yeah.
All right, guys. Well, yeah, thank you guys so much for being on the channel, and yeah, congrats on the top 16. I think it's still like $300 in top 16 playmats, so it's still pretty cool. And then I think like first place is like 2,100 or something. Like this event was insane. So you guys still played very well. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks again.